Hey guys, today I want to talk about money, and I want to talk about money specifically about the very thing that we call money. I think this is extremely important. It seems kind of obvious that you should talk about that, right? If you're going to have a YouTube channel where you talk about manifesting abundance, we should talk about the very thing that we call money. And kind of the concept that I'm going for in this video is to illustrate to you that a better word for money for you going forward, if you really want to understand manifesting abundance and how the world really works also, maybe a better word would be wealth or value. Money is whatever we agree to use as money. So if you got one of these, how much is this worth? Well, it's worth a lot less than it used to be worth. $1 used to be able to buy a lot more than what it does today. However, this thing right here can still buy the same amount of goods, basically. There's greater forces in our world who actually attempt to manipulate the value of this too. And they're doing a pretty good job of it, but the way that this works is they're not going to be able to do that forever. Eventually their house of cards is going to have to fall. So at the end of the day, in the final equation, this is still going to buy you the same amount of goods that it used to, say, 100 years ago, whereas this buys you way less. Why is that? Because they print these, and if you've been watching the news lately, they're printing a lot of these, aren't they? Trillions, in fact. And I think most of you know by now that the way that the monetary system works is they push a button and the money just gets produced. The computer spits it out. It's a computer entry. So they can make as many or as few of these as they want. And the more of these that there are floating around, the less that the ones that you have are worth. This, on the other hand, is always worth the same amount. It's always going to hold its value. Money is whatever we agree to use as money. I mean, people used to use sticks of wood in England hundreds of years ago, and they were called tally sticks. They used those for hundreds of years. People used to use yak dung. And here's the thing about money. It's just an exchange of energy. That's all it is. It used to be that people would barter. Say I want to get some food. I want to get some soup, right? And I am a painter. And so I go around town asking people if somebody needs me to paint their house, if they could exchange some food and maybe some clothing. And I find someone, and they say, okay, and I paint their house, and they give me some food and some clothing. Well, what if nobody in town needs their house painted? Well, I guess what you could do is just give them some of these, if you have some. It's just whatever we agree to use as money. It's just energy. That's all it is. People are always trying to get money. What I'm telling you to do is to get energy, to get abundance, to use a more general term, right? So when you think of like the law of attraction and manifesting money, it's really energy that you're manifesting, okay? And money itself has no intrinsic value other than maybe something like this. This has an intrinsic value. I mean, for, I don't know, guys, like 10,000 years, this has always been considered to be very valuable because it's scarce. Presumably until the end of time, gold will always have value. And this is the thing that like rich people understand about money that you should understand too, is A, money is just whatever we agree to say is money. B, it's not really money that you want. I mean, maybe what you think you want is money, but what I'm telling you is what you should want is value, wealth. So, last year, Warren Buffett, y'all know who Warren Buffett is, right? He made his billions on the stock market. Well, he got out of stocks last year. He got rid of all of his stocks and instead purchased a whole bunch of these with his stocks. And then the big pandemic thing happened and the stock market went, and you got to ask yourself, this is a side note, how did he know how to do that before the economic calamity hit? I'm just saying, but that's another conversation for another day. But he wanted these. He wanted these. And now, and actually it wasn't really these. I believe what he purchased were instruments called T-bills, which is like currency, but it holds its value. But anyway, that's the key word, is value. He presumably knew that the stock market was going to crash. How did he know that? And he got rid of his stocks while telling you guys, go out and buy stocks. By the way, don't you know? Hey, everybody, go buy stocks. I'm Warren Buffett, and I'm telling you to go buy stocks. Meanwhile, he's selling all of his stocks, purchasing T-bills. Why? Because he wants to protect the value of his wealth. It's all about abundance. It's energy. You can have 1 million of these tied up in a stock. But if they keep printing these, it has no value. It has no value. If it used to cost you $1 to buy a loaf of bread, and after they get done printing money, now it costs you 10, I guess having a whole bunch of these doesn't really help you. Maybe having these would help you. So Warren Buffett made that little maneuver because he wants to protect the value of his abundance, the value of his wealth. So he's not really trying to make money. He's interested in attracting energy to him, and maybe he's not really doing it in an honest fashion. But I digress. You can do it too for good. You can do it for good purposes, right? You can do it for good purposes. But you need to understand the very thing that we call money. So somebody like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or one of these rich guys, right, like Rockefeller or somebody like that, they get this. They're not necessarily interested in accumulating dollars. They might want T-bills. They might want a certain type of stock. They might want bonds. They're purchasing bonds from the government or something like that. Or in certain situations, they might say, let's buy a bunch of real estate. Because right now, real estate is going to protect the value of my abundance. And then the economy crashes, and these aren't worth as much anymore all of a sudden. Or the stocks that they used to own, those aren't worth very much anymore. They got rid of all the stocks that they owned, and they put it all into something else. And so they're able to protect the value of their money by making these transactions, by moving their wealth around, by moving the wealth from, say, dollars to bonds. They can protect the value of their wealth. So I hope this makes sense. I hope I've opened your eyes a little bit to not only what money itself is, but also how the world really works. And that's something I think is very important for you to learn about if you're really serious about attracting financial abundance into your life. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next time.